Well, hello. My name's Renee, and I'm here today to record a video of the tutorial on some cards that are for my church. And thank you, ladies, for coming to our event. And for anyone who is watching this later, I will have a coordinating blog post that goes along with the video, and it will give you all of the measurements for the cards, along with some links to all of the supplies that I use, just in case you run across this video and you weren't able to come to our event. So what you're going to have is you're going to have some card kits, and in your card kits are going to be all the pieces you need to make 5 different cards. So today the one that I'm showing you is I'm calling the Confident Encouragement card. This will be a great card for someone who's having a hard time, maybe a graduation, and I'll show you here. Go ahead and take your pieces out. You can just put your envelope to the side. We won't need that. You do have a card base. So we'll put the card base off to the side. This is called a zip strip, and I gave you this. Feel free to use it anywhere on your card that you like. If you want to put it on the inside, if you want to decorate the outside with it, or if you just don't want to use it at all, maybe use it as a bookmark later. This is our sentiment panel, and I love this quote by Henry David Thoreau: "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you've imagined." I just thought this was a really nice sentiment. It goes really well with the paper that I've selected. This is the paper. You will notice that it is double-sided. I'll let you know which side we're using when. And then you'll also find these 2 pieces, and I like to finish off the insides of my cards, so that's what we're going to do with these 2 pieces. So you can kind of just set these off to the side for the moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you a technique called distressing. And in your kit you will find an emery board. There's a lot of different tools that you can buy out on the market to actually do distressing. However, I find that these are really inexpensive and they do a good job. You can get them at the dollar store really inexpensively. So why spend money where you don't have to? That's my motto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges. I want to tell you a few things before I start doing this, because once I start doing it, it's a little loud. So I'll probably turn off the loudness, maybe play you a little pretty music and speed it up a little bit because it can get boring. But what you're going to do is you're going to rub your emery board all along your edges. You can do as little or as much distressing as you like. I've seen a lot of people do some heavy distressing and curl up edges, and it just looks really unique and different and gives it a lot of texture. So you're going to do that to all 3 of your pieces. I can't count today. This particular piece, because it is white and it has a white core, you are not going to be able to see the distressing quite so much. So really on this one, just do a really quick little job on it and maybe curl your edges up a little bit. On these, this particular paper line that I'm using, which is from Close to My Heart, has a white core. I'm sure you can see that white core. So when you distress paper that has a white core, it really gives you some interesting looks. Not only can you distress and have the white showing, but you can always go back later with some ink and ink up your edges and give yourself another coordinating color. So I'm going to go ahead, distress these pieces real quick, and be right back. And there we have it. All of the distressing is done. You can put your emery board aside, and you can see you have a little bit of paper on there, but for the most part, you haven't really used your emery board up. So you can use these for a really long time. Do be aware, though, that you are going to have a little bit of dust left over. Something that I found very helpful for cleaning up the dust are those dry Swiffer wipes. So if you have any of those and you're doing this at home, feel free to grab a Swiffer wipe. That's a really good way to get it all cleaned up. So we're going to set our sentiment aside. We're not quite ready for that. And we're ready to adhere this piece to this piece. And this is the color combination that I have selected. You can, it is completely your card. If you want to do it this direction, feel free to do so. That's the thing about card making. You can make it whatever you want. So I have given you ladies all some small tape runners for your use in the kit. However, if you find that you really enjoy card making or any kind of paper crafting, I would highly recommend one of these. It is by Scotch and it's called an advanced tape glider. This is what it looks like on the other side, and see if I can get the whole thing in the camera. This little guy is really good if you're doing a lot of adhering. You can buy these at any craft store. Hobby Lobby has them, Joann, Michael's. What I would recommend, they're a little pricey, is if you get it at Hobby Lobby, there's a coupon on their app for 40% off. Definitely make sure you're using a coupon, or if you have a Joann coupon for 50%, that would be great too. So when you're doing your adhering, what you want to do is you want to place your tape as close to the edge as you can without going over. You want to make sure that you get a good edge going on. And the other thing I like to do is put it on all four sides of my paper. Now, if you were to accidentally get the adhesive too close to an edge, just rub on it and rub it off, because you don't want any of that adhesive to be on the front. It'll make a mess and get it stuck on your envelope when you send it. Now, in my instructions, I told you to place this about a ½ inch. These are handmade cards. They don't have to be perfect. They need to look homemade, not like they're made by a machine. There are rulers that I've put on your tables. Feel free to go ahead and use the ruler if you feel good about that. You want to do that. I tend to be very crooked when I do things on my own. I don't want it crooked. I do want it to be my best work. So I am going to use my grid here in the background. I also have this handy dandy little ruler that I like. This was actually a gift from a lovely quilt shop near my home, but it's made by Creative Grids. I'm sure you can see that right there. creativegrids.com, and I know I've seen these in Michael's and in Joann and Hobby Lobby. So feel free to use something like this as well. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to set it up to ½ inch and then pop my little piece on. And what I need you to do is get it as even as you can with the top and the bottom. Now, these were all these papers were cut by hand, so of course sometimes you're going to have things that don't line up. This particular one lined up great, so we're not going to have to worry about it. But if it didn't line up on the top and the bottom, feel free to take a pair of scissors and trim that skinny piece off. If you end up trimming off your distressing, just come back in with your emery board, distress it back up again. Everything's fixable. Okay, so now we're ready to put our sentiment on. So again, same process, put your adhesive on the edges. Oops, I went a little too close to the edge that time. I'm going to have to push that adhesive back a little bit, so just like that, so that you don't have it on the front. It should come off very easily. And in the instructions, I told you to, oh, you know what? I skipped a step. We're going to sit this aside for a moment. Don't let it get stuck to anything. What you want to do next is take your card base with it opening like this, so the fold is on your left side, and you want to adhere your base page down. So again, use your glue, and you can really use any type of glue that you like. I like tape runners. Now, the one thing about tape runners is when you set it down, it is there. If, however, you want to give yourself a little extra time to put something down, and so you can move it around before it finishes becoming permanent, this right here is a really good glue to use. It's a Tombow Mono Multi, and it has a tip on it so you can get a very small stream of glue. You don't want to use a lot of glue on paper products because you will get your paper to start rippling. But so those are options. These are cut so that you have a border of the card base all the way around of about 1/8 of an inch. So just go ahead and you can eyeball it, or you can use the ruler, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Place that down. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So let's go back to what I was doing a little prematurely. We've got our glue around the edges, our tape around the edges. And in my instructions, I told you that this one would be about 1/4 of an inch from the left side and about 3/4 of an inch from the top. that's just, there's nothing in stone that says you have to do it that way. If you would rather have it toward the middle, feel free to do that. I tend to do things a little bit off, not quite so symmetrical because it looks good to my eye, but whatever looks good to your eye is what you need to do. So there's the front of our card, completely finished. And now take those other two pieces that I told you about, and what you're going to do is you're going to adhere those like that. So we'll go ahead and put our glue, our tape runner here on the edges, and send our paper flying, because that's always fun, especially when it has tape on it. Get stuck to the dog, get stuck to the cat. Okay, so go ahead and adhere that down. There you go. Get your card back from over here, open it up, and I always put my sentiments right here when you first open a card, but feel free to do however you like. If you're going to be doing a lot of writing or stamping or anything, I would do that on this cream color piece before you adhere it to the craft piece. That way if you mess up, you flip it over and you can use the other side. This paper is pretty thick. Again, this is close to my heart cardstock. It's pretty thick, so if you stamp on it or you write on it and mess up, you shouldn't be able to see it from the other side unless you were using a really heavy hand. And we just ran out of tape, but that was perfect timing. As soon as I get the tape off myself. There we go. This is almost like live TV. And then you're just going to adhere that, giving yourself that 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And there we go. That is our completed card. I'm calling this one Confident Encouragement. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below, and I will watch for those and answer anything that I can. Thanks, and have a great day.